Right.
It's ridiculous. Like, I think that people are like, fuck tube screamers, and then like click to the next tab and buy 5. I think that that's what's going on. Yeah, a little bit of a revolt against it, but yeah, I think that more traditional fuzz pedals, there's less and less of those being generated.
Should we maybe show the Gary one now?
Sure.
Or whatever.
No, yeah, let's talk about Gary. Gary is he's an interesting guy. I think that this pedal really confuses people. How many people are familiar with Idols, the band? Awesome. Not enough in this room. You should all be familiar with Idols. They are one of the greatest live bands in history. But we made this pedal with Lee from Idols. And he uses one of our old pedals, the Gray Channel, which is based on one of my favorite pedals, the DoD 250 Overdrive, which is kind of the thing that got me into building pedals. I had this 70s one that I liked a lot, and it broke. Bought a new one to replace it. It didn't sound the same, so I was like, I'll figure out how to fix it, and Earthquaker is born. So he used the Gray Channel. He wanted that to be a part of this pedal. In fact, that's all he asked for, was, can you make me a pedal that's just the green channel from the Gray Channel with no diode selector switch? And I was like, so a boost. I guess I can, but I don't know how exciting that is. So I made him one and gave it to him at their show in Cleveland.
So the rare moments when you took an advice.
It is. It wasn't like a rare, I almost never make somebody like a one-off pedal, but I just was like, I think I could do this in an afternoon.
And you were satisfied with the result, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoy making stuff like little things on clipboard and things like that. It's a lot of fun for me to, because I'm not like on the shop floor building pedals. It's fun to stay and practice. So I was like, yeah, this will be easy enough. I'll make it. It actually ended up sounding pretty good. He was really into it. And I was like, do you want to make a pedal out of this? He was like, I would love to. I was like, can we do something else with it? So he asked me to make a fuzz pedal that sounded broken and would just disappear sometimes randomly. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's not really a thing that we do. I do think there's like a whole world of people that think of Earthquaker as this wild experimental company, and then a whole bunch of people who think that we're making tube screamer clones. And the reality is we're right between the two. So that was kind of the fun thing. I'd taken one stab and it was too broken. And then what the Gary ended up being was my second try. And what it is, so I'll just show you real quick. The Gray Channel side. Overdrive. What's nice is it has like it's got a lot of output, so you can use it to drive your amp. It would probably blow everyone's ears out if I did it in this room, but I think that's how he's using it. The fuzz side is interesting. It's a pulse width modulation fuzz, so it turns the guitar into a square wave, and then using your pick attack, it dynamically changes the pulse width, so it makes it wider and narrow. It has a very, very sensitive envelope in it. You're gonna have to excuse me because he named the controls and they're so confusing to me still, even though I've been staring at them for years. The control is called Yes. So Yes is what adjusts the sensitivity of the envelope. And you can adjust it, like once it starts getting like between like 11 and noon, the signal gets so narrow that it will disappear. With certain pickups, he uses a lot of really low output guitars, so like that's why I made this so wide. So I'm burying the pulse with the picate. What's nice about it though is it's like so high gain. If I turn this yes all the way down, it pretty much negates the envelope, and then it just becomes this really heavy fuzz. But it's dead quiet when you stop playing. It like gates in a really nice way, but it will also sustain. For a long time. Now I'll show you like why our customer service guy JP, who has incredible patience. You wouldn't believe the questions you guys sent him. We get a lot of people being like, "This pedal's broken." I'm like, no, it's supposed to do that. Turn it all the way up. And you'll sit here. I take that back, what I just played. Pretend like I didn't do it. But yeah, it does exactly what he asked. It sounds broken, but it also sounds awesome.
How do you QC this circuit? So how do you verify that this circuit functions correctly?
Well, there's like a noon back, it's very predictable. It does the same thing every single time. So people audibly, like our QC process is an audio test. So everyone knows, like, the people who do the final testing on the pedals knows like certain settings. It always sounds like this, and then you just test it.
How big is your team? How many people work with you?
It's about 35.
All right.
I own the company with my wife, Julie.
Yeah, Julie, would you like to stand up? Shake, yeah, in the back? Yeah. She is the other half of the company.
Yeah, she's
not only your wife.
Yeah, she's our CEO. She can verify all the dates I get wrong and the number of employees. How many?
You're naming the pedals.
Oh, we have had. I just burped into the microphone like it was no big deal. We've apparently had over 80 pedals in the line.
Okay. When you're designing a pedal, how do you choose which amp? And how the amps configured? Do you have something like typicals, or you go through like 5-10 different models?
I love that you asked me this, because I used to be really embarrassed about what
I didn't agree on that question before.
What I do use, and now I'm just openly admitting to everybody that I use a Kemper. I don't condone it though.
Why?
Because guitar needs to be played loud. It needs to move air. But like for development, like we were working in like really tight quarters for a long time, and we still are. Like, I mean, my office is, between like our IT and customer service office, and shares a wall with the sales office. So it's like I can't be blasting guitar. So I tried a bunch of headphone amps, and the Kemper was the one that at the time sounded the best.
And you used some specific amp
I took it out of the box and found the deluxe reverb setting, put everything at noon, and have never touched it again. Which like drives like all the young technical people at our shop insane.
But just for the sake of it, when the pedal design is ready, do you bring it to a normal tube amp?
Yeah, I also have like a big collection of amps and stuff like that, and like I like loud, clean tube amps. The amp that I was using was a deluxe reverb. I felt like I knew that amp inside and out, like how a pedal how the circuit reacts through that amp, I can hear it through other stuff. You know what I mean?
We thought that you make this company to play loud amps all the time, all the day, but it seems you had enough of it, right?
Yeah, and then I use a Kemper, and then I tell people about it.
And you have tube amp at least at home in your basement?
Yeah, it's all tube amps at home. I'm also a fan of solid state amplifiers. Like a Sun Beta Lead is an incredible amplifier. So it was like a Sun Concert Lead. Music Man HD 130 was like my main amp for a long time. But yeah, I have a bunch of amps that I'll play through and a lot of guitars. But it's like once I was designing pedals for the longest time using a Nash Telecaster and then the Deluxe Reverb. And by just knowing those two things so well, like I just knew how it was gonna sound. Okay. Stuff like it's just gonna sound that way. So I tended to like stick to the same guitars. I stopped using the Nash and now I use 60th anniversary Jazzmaster that I put some humbuckers in with some coil taps, and that way I can kind of get an idea.
You usually play live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and here comes the nasty question. Do you have other pedals than EQD on your board? Apart from the tuner?
Not too many, honestly. The Digitech Drop is my current. I love Digitech's way of doing pitch shifting. It's like very clean and unobtrusive. There's like no artifacts to it. Like all the pitch shifters we made are like there's what's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say gimmick. That sounds like I'm cheating somebody. There's like a character to them. Like there's supposed to be a vibe. Like the organizer is supposed to be this like warbly kind of organ sound. Or the Rainbow Machine is the Rainbow Machine. If I want a normal pitch shifter, it's gonna be the Digitech. It was like the Electro Harmonics Pog. They're so unreliable. And I just stopped doing it. And chose that. It's a great pedal, and then I had the Death by Audio. I forgot the name. Some modulation pedal. It's awesome with the two controls and the flip switches. And a tuner.
Okay. So do you want to show some more of your favorite sound combinations? As you said that not dirt pedals are your favorite EQDs, but modulations, right? So why don't we just go into that area?
So I'll show you, I guess the Rainbow Machine, if you're familiar with it, like everybody knows like the sound that the Rainbow Machine does, which I'll show you just to get it out of the way. Pixie dust. But at the heart of the Rainbow Machine is just a pitch shifter, which if I turn the secondary all the way down and put the tracking so it's real tight. Pitch shifter with character, but a pitch shifter nonetheless. But how I like to use it is like a chorus. So that's like kind of my go-to setting with that. And the thing that like, I mean, you can love or hate this kind of stuff, but like that, like climbing effect. It's pretty unpredictable. Like if you move the pitch just a little bit. So I kind of like that surprise. It's like a little bit predictable what's going to happen, but sometimes you get surprised, I guess.
All right. You also mentioned one of the reverb pedals, right?
The
afterneath, right?
Yeah. Which it's just a reverb, but.
Jamie Stillman.
You do a lot of cool stuff with it.
On reverb pedals, I mean, much of it is, how much of that is software engineering and how much of that is analog components? The reverb algorithm is something you program, or?
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole reverb circuit is digital. Right. It's an interesting thing that it's analog controlled digital, which is kind of the opposite of the way most people would do it. But it also makes it pretty interesting.
And you do the reverb algorithm programming?
Yeah, for most of the digital pedals that are on here. Yeah. This is a version 2, and version 2, like there's a feature that we call drag. I'm just going to go ahead and take some credit here.
I guess it's unpredictable again.
It's a little unpredictable, but what it's doing is it's changing like the clock speed, so it's like reducing and increasing the sample rate of the effect, and it has a really cool sound to it, I think. I think we are one of the first people to put this in a pedal, and now there's a lot of brands out there that have this feature. They call it something else. I got asked at another talk once, would you ever consider putting a clock adjust? And I was like, I think we did it before everybody else. I could be wrong, I don't know. But as far as I know, we did. And then I worked with this like brilliant engineer, his name was John Sonnenberg. And he developed this way of changing the clock so it shifts in like these pre-programmed like increments that create like musical scales. Mm-hmm. So there's a middle knob called mode on the new version of the afternoon that will change it so it's like all octaves and fifths, all fifths, a minor scale, a major scale. Like it does some cool stuff that the first one didn't do.
And there's a new version.
Yeah, this is the new version.
You want to show those?
Sure. That's kind of what I was doing at the end right there. But. It's like, it is shifting the pitch, but it's actually just a byproduct of like when there's like a rapid clock change, it shows up in the audio path as this pitch.
Right.
But it's actually not a pitch that's like part of the audio path.
All right. Can we move into the distortion area with Zor?
Sure. Zor is my like 30th fuzz space. Although, on the surface, you would probably never know that. Fuzz Face is one of my all-time, if not, it's probably actually my favorite pedal. Somewhere between a Fuzz Face and a Tone Bender Mach 2. Like, I just
love. You have a few of those original pedals?
No, I cannot afford.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And especially nowadays, like you don't know what you're getting, and I'm not going to buy one off the internet. and just have it show up and be this horrific mess, because that's kind of that's like the fun and terrible part about vintage pedals, is you never know what you're going to get. I've definitely played a fair share of them, and like I've got modern reproductions that I would consider as good. Dan makes some great pedals, as well as Analog Man. So, and I've built enough of them on breadboards that I feel like I kind of know the circuit inside and out. We've had a number of pedals based on, like the Eruptor was kind of a fuzz face variant. We had the Dream Crusher. I'm forgetting. Other pedals based on a fuzz face. But with Zor, what I was trying to do was make something that was like more in the vein of like high gain distortion, but could also like totally clean up to be like almost a clean boost with kind of a classic Fender style EQ. And then doing it all with silicon transistors, but making it sound germanium, which to me, like a silicon-based fuzz face has got just kind of a harsher high end, and it's not as like reactive to your playing dynamics and things like that. So it's like, how do I do this and then make it repeatable? Like everyone is going to sound exactly the same, and we're not going to be like scouring the globe to find parts for it, because we already have one pedal left in production with germanium transistors, the hoof, and it's like so hard to find the transistors for that. Like I spend like a month out of every year hunting down enough to do the next year's worth of that pedal. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. So this is like the heavy setting of Zor. With a silicon-based fuzz face, like it has a very like kind of natural sound to it. But the true like I think kind of secret weapon in this, not so much like the gain control, but the excuse me, it's the weight control, which controls how much low end gets put into the front of the pedal. The gain has been up all the way this whole time. So like if I back it down, cleans up. It's just like a very versatile dirt pedal. You can do a lot of stuff, which, you know, everyone says that about their dirt pedals, but I believe this to be very true.
You think are there still essentially new designs in drive or fuzz pedals in the future? Or people always start from some existing and just tweaks?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Okay. You know, there's like, I think the argument that like everything is a tube screamer or everything's a fuzz face or whatever is both true and just total bullshit. Because all of these pedals, like, there's like one way to make an op amp work, you know, like to make an amplifier and then to make a clip, and everyone's doing it, you know, like a DS1 is similar to a tube screamer, but you don't hear people being like, it's just another tube screamer. And like the same thing with like fuzz faces, you know, they're essentially tone benders, but like they sound wildly different from each other, and you know, part selection, how you tune them, the voltages things are run at. So yeah, in some ways, they're all derivatives of these circuits, but they're also like all like app notes and the data sheets for the parts that are like, if you want to use this thing, this is how you use it, and everyone kind of starts from there. I think. But that said, yeah, there's totally like new original designs. I think tons of people are making new like original circuits. I think, and like I most certainly have a bunch of like dirt pedals. I think that are unique, and they're the ones that don't sell as well as the ones that are based on. So I do think that there's some comfort, I think, in all of us that are like, well, I kind of know what family this is in. Maybe it's a cool, unique take on it, and just the fact, I mean, like we put out the Plumes, which is based on a TS-808, which is arguably like not really like in my top 20 favorite pedals, but we had gotten like so many phone calls and emails, like, which one's your tube screamer? That it was. Julie was like, could you just make one? Yeah. And the answer to that was Palisades.
Yeah. And
was using.
And you had the small Palisades. Well,
yeah, it was the Dunes. Was Dunes. Right. But the Plumes was actually developed before those pedals. It was like one of the circuits on the way to like, can I do something unique with the tube screamer circuit? Right. And I think people were really stoked on the pedals. It was like tube screamer overkill. You can do a ton of stuff with it. But I personally kept gravitating like towards this circuit that became the Plumes. Okay. And it's in the tube screamer family, but I don't think it sounds like a tube screamer. Yeah. And like I just kind of liked it, so I was like, well, let's put that out and see what happens. And like at that point, it happened. Yeah, it was like the 20,000th variation of the tube screamer on the circuit, but people were stoked. Like, it's like our best selling.
Yeah, but probably you found again something unique in that pedal.
Yeah, and I think
you come into our showroom testing it. Okay, that's the one.
Yeah, and I think any good pedal designer, nothing. It sounds like I'm saying like something really egotistical, but it's like, you know what you like, and you know what's kind of missing from a circuit, and you know when there's like a magic thing happening, and I felt like that's what was going on.
Well, a lot of people have been trying that for 20 years, right? And you still find something new, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so fun to work on.
Yeah. I gotta ask this question. You talked about extremely expensive vintage pedals, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have anything in the clone space in your portfolio. Is that a specific reason? You have an opinion which you want to share, or you don't? That's also okay.
Well, I got a couple of things to say about it. I never understood that pedal. I'd owned a couple original ones. Okay. Like I bought the first one when they were $500 on eBay, and that was crazy expensive. And then like I didn't get it at all. I was like, why do people like this pedal? It doesn't make any sense to me. And then they got up to like $1,000, and I was like, wow, that's a good return on this investment, and I sold it. And then a couple of years later, found one on Craigslist, just local paper, and bought it again because it was a reasonable price. Let's say he had it listed for a reasonable price, and then I showed up at his door, and he was like, "Oh, you're the guy from Earthquaker. It's crazy, but I just looked them up, and they're like $1,500 now." I was like, "Oh, cool." So I bought it, and I held on to it because I collect stuff. I'm a gear hoarder. And then one day, I plugged a Les Paul into a Marshall on the neck pickup. I was like, "Oh God, this is why people use this pedal. It sounds awesome." Like the clean setting on it. Like I'm sure people like the distortion. It's just not my like style of overdrive in it. But there is something to that clean boost circuit. So I did make a clone of the clone, and I made 10 of them, and I gave one to my friend Ted. And the other 9 are sitting in my office. I used one a lot while recording a project, and then just kind of left it at that, because it is just a straight up clone of a clone.
And you're still thinking about releasing it one day, or you're not fancy?
I don't know. Okay. Do you think it's a good idea to do like a straight up clone now? I'm not sure.
Okay, so straight up. Okay, you will find from some idea how to treat it, right?
It does the thing, and it sounds good. So it's like, I guess what I'm admitting to you is I did work on one, but I didn't feel okay about like releasing it just because it was a pretty straight up one. But I did have a great name for it.
But you don't share.
It's so stupid. It's just called rock and roll pedal. Pedal is part of the name, so people would have to be like the rock and roll pedal. Nobody liked that idea at all at the shop. They just blankly stared at me. But you laughed. It's funny, right? It's a terrible idea.
Any questions to Jamie? Anybody? Or yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
So, do you face situations like your pedals are cloned
All the time.
in Asia and
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
There's a Ghost Echo clone called Gas Echo that you can get on TV. It's smaller than the Ghost Echo. I don't know what it sounds like, but I think the name is hilarious. And the graphics are so bad. They cloned a bunch of like Keeley pedals and stuff like that. Almost all of our pedals are somehow magically reverse engineered in the first week that they come out. And none more than the Life pedal. If you have built a clone of the Life pedal, please stop telling me that you built a clone of the Life pedal and you think it sounds pretty good. I don't know.
It's not.
Yeah. I'm torn, honestly, though. We all make pedals that are based on old circuits, and I strongly support the DIY culture. That's our whole background is in that. I come from a punk rock background, and that's still how I operate. People should be able to do things for themselves. There's no point in waiting around for people to do shit for you. Just get out and tour. Get out and put out your own records. Start your own pedal company. Fuck it. But don't just reverse engineer someone's shit and put it up on the internet and then sell it. That's not DIY. You're being an asshole. Give it away. Sure, whatever. But yeah, I'm torn. You can obviously tell. I don't love it, especially if they go straight up and just be like, Earthquaker Device's Life pedal. It's you can't technically do that. That's IP.
Do you use special components in your pedals? I mean, capacitors, wires.
Yeah, in some pedals, we did a pedal called the Black Ash that used some special paper and oil capacitors and these old silicon transistors that we couldn't get enough of. So we did that one as a limited run, and then the hoof uses some germanium transistors that are that's the pedal I was talking about earlier that I spent a month out of every year trying to source enough of that part to use. But anymore I try to be able to make stuff that's off the shelf. It's so hard for us. If we were smaller and had to make less, I'd be kind of all about. I like the specialty items and stuff like that. But what I just try to do is find some parts that I know are reliable, easy to get, and we have no quality issues with them. And through-hole components are just becoming totally scarce across the board. There's certainly enough of them in the world that for the next 100 years, every guitar player could start their own pedal company. But we need to know we can make 100,000 pedals identical, and you just really can't do that reliably anymore if you're using special germanium diodes and certain kinds of caps and stuff like that.
There's one more question, right?
Yeah, actually I would like to have two, but I will ask
Go ahead.
the first one. So first of all, what future do you see to the boutique pedal world? Is there any space for new ones?
Yeah, I think so. Every time that I'm oh my god, there's so many pedal companies. How is that? And then a hologram will come out. What the fuck? I know Ryan is a genius from Hologram Electronics. If you're not familiar with the pedals, you should be. But he was also in this incredible band called Royal Bangs, which is where I know him from. And they put out one of the best records of all time called Let It Beep. You should check it out. But I think that there is. There's always somebody who comes out with something where you're oh, Jesus Christ, I did that. But yeah.
The other one?
Other one. It's about pedal bypass. Do you think throw bypass matters in 2025?
No. I don't. I've been doing more buffered bypass. The truth is, like, I mean, if you put too many buffered bypass pedals on your pedal board, it does kind of like suck the tone out of it. But if you put too many true bypass pedals on your pedal board, it's almost worse. Like, you're either going to get too little low end with too many buffered bypass, or too little high end with true bypass. So you have to have this like kind of perfect balance of both. And I think that it kind of matters too, like where you're going to put your buffer in the chain. Like, we just released a line of utility pedals, and there's like a buffer preamp that we did that I think is best placed at the end of the chain. Kind of enhances the tone there and like keeps your low end strong. Like if it's just a straight up buffer, like I think after dirt pedals, like the way I set up a pedal board is like all dirt, then your kind of modulation, reverb, and delay. Like I think after dirt, like that's the best place. Like if we make a big pedal board at Earthquaker, we always put a buffer like under the board after all the dirt pedals. But my feeling, like buffered bypass, like that switching style is like the most reliable and silent of like all the switches. Like even like we use relay based switching, which is like super reliable and very like rugged. Like the switches aren't mechanical. There's very little that can break. And the reason why we did that is most of our repairs, like 99% of our repairs, were broken switches. So it's like you still get a little bit of no you don't. Ours are perfect. But no, sometimes you'll get like a little ping from that, or like a mechanical switch will have like a pop to it. With the buffered bypass switching, it's like dead silent.
Ivan, you had a question?
Yes, so recently you released a limited edition of plumes in the cast iron casing. So the guys at Wonderful Podcast were wondering what was the weight of that pedal and how much was the shipping?
That was actually the thing that almost turned us off to doing the thing. It's like a weapon, but in the box. I just weighed it. Well, I don't know how to do this translation, but it's 1.6 pounds. It feels like a brick.
How much is that in grams or kilograms?
750 grams.
What are you?
Had to answer quick.
I always feel like a dumb American. Yeah, I mean, the freight to ship them all from Japan was crazy. $1,400 to ship 200 enclosures.
All right, Jamie, do you want to like show us your most craziest sound for as we are going out from this discussion?
The most craziest?
Whatever. I mean, when you really fucked up in your whatever business matter and you want to just go in and do something like crazy.
Well, the one that, no, all right, here. Okay, I'll explain a very quick story with this. We did a split release with Death by Audio called Time Shadows. And the initial run was, I think, 1,000 of them, and we did it for Reverb, did a movie about pedals, creatively called The Pedal Movie. And they asked a bunch of brands to partner, and I demanded that we get to work with Death by Audio, and we did this pedal. What I didn't know at the time, because we did these in-house, it's a digital pedal, and the programs are on what's called an EEPROM. Normally we would have these programmed and just put them on the pedal. We had programmed them all in-house because we only made 1,000. What I didn't realize is the master EEPROM I gave our production manager to program had other programs on it that I was working on that weren't finished. And someone figured out that if you force the 2-position toggle switch into the middle, that you could access one of these programs. And it was, depending on who you are, either an awesome pitch shifting delay or a total nightmare to figure out what to do with pitch shifting delay. But nonetheless, it's a cool Easter egg. So when we decided to make it a permanent part of the line, I made it accessible. I also finished the program. I had no mix control, and it was a little like unruly. So I think it has a pretty insane sound, but also it's kind of like the sound of like, I think what people who think we only make weird experimental pedals think all Earthquaker pedals sound like. It does one thing, but it does it great.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much for having me here. It's really an honor. Jamie is still here with us tonight, so just talk to him. And again, don't forget the QR codes. A lot of the EQD pedals are on sale for this event, so check out before they go.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome. This is a really cool event. And you did a great job of putting it together. It's super cool.
Thank you. Thank you. So don't go away. Fészek, come. We'll continue with Szabolcsi Bence, Fészek és Viktor beszélgetésével. Thank you again, Jamie.